Alright, February 22nd through the 26th. Had a bit of a rough week this week. I missed 3 classes throughout the course of the week because I slipped into a very serious depression. The worst I've had in 15 years. And it wasn't just one day, it was 2, maybe 3 days of the week that I was just so bad that I really couldn't even function. I knew that I was letting everybody down, letting myself down, letting my friends and cohort down, and there was really nothing I could do about it. I tried so hard, but all I wanted to do was just lay in bed and do nothing. I couldn't even cry, it was that bad. I tried to cry, and I couldn't. I felt dead inside. And I don't know what sparked it specifically. If there was anything, or if it was a culmination of things. So it was really hard to say. But regardless, it happened, and nobody knows. Because I don't like to talk about that kind of stuff. Madison tells me that I need to talk to other people about it. I talked to her about it today. She's the first of the cohort. Madison is the first of the cohort that I've told about this. And she says that I need to let everybody know. But to be honest with you, I just feel like everybody's going to tell me that it's me making up excuses, or they're not going to believe me. And there's a fine line between depression and laziness. And I get the feeling that regardless of if I tell them or not, they're just going to consider me lazy, which isn't the case at all. I've done my work in everything except for one area. In Simon's classes, I haven't memorized my monologues in there. But everything that involves the cohort, I've been doing, at least as best I possibly can. But I still have people who are extremely mad at me, who think that I'm just wasting their time, wasting my own time. So yeah, it's been a bit of a rough week. But maybe next week will be better. You never know. No day but today, right? I have to keep moving forward. I can't dwell on it. I can't let it consume me. So I'll get right into what I did this week. Monday, I skipped Lou's class in the morning. I woke up feeling just obliterated. Didn't even feel good in the morning. But yeah, I didn't go to it. Made it to Stephanie Taylor's class, where I had a presentation, which, to be honest with you, is the only reason I made it to that class that day. I presented, and I think it went pretty well. I did my presentation on Ben Jonson, arguably the second greatest writer of the Elizabethan era. And I gotta say, I love the guy. He's amazing. Absolutely phenomenal person. He did a lot of great things in his time, and a lot of shitty things too, to be honest with you. It proves that he's human. He's not just some amazing person on a pedestal like Shakespeare. Moving into Keith's class, we did the usual Laban stuff. This time I got paired with Robert, and we did what I like to call a two-person Othello, having just seen it the weekend before. And we were asked to do 5 different Laban techniques. The ones that we chose were pressing, ringing, flicking, gliding, and floating. And between the 2 of those, what we did was I started out as Iago, and Robert was Othello. Basically, what I was doing was pressing, ringing, and flicking, and I went in that order. And when I got to flicking, I flicked all of my troubles or angst or whatever onto Othello, and then he started flicking and went backwards through ringing and pressing. He started off with gliding and floating, and then once I flicked onto him, I went to gliding and floating, and I was happy about him dying at this point, and he died, and I kind of laughed with it. So I thought it was a pretty cool little exercise that we did. Moved into Francois' class, and she wrote us a 20-minute voice warm-up. It's pretty nice, actually, that we have that. We can do it before our shows. We can do it before our scenes and whatnot if we have time. And we can take it with us when we're done with this program. So I'm very happy about that. And then I skipped Roger's class for the day because I wasn't feeling up to it. My brain was just too fried. I was too depressed. Went home, just laid down. Tuesday was even worse. I went to Lou's class in the morning, mostly because I couldn't sleep. Even though I wanted to just stay in bed and lay there, I got up and went to the class. Robert and September presented. They did manners and etiquette. And to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be great research for Sir Roger and Squire Woodby, but then when I tried to utilize some of it, I got shot down. Specifically, I was saying that the male should always enter first into a room, because that was part of the etiquette that they taught us, and then everybody was like, no, you don't need to worry about that because it's so-and-so's house or whatever. And that was really the only place I could think of to put much of it. I mean, obviously there was how we were standing and sitting and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, went into Colin, and to be honest with you, he kind of, doing his class kind of picked up my spirits just a little bit. I felt better after the class, and then dropped back down into my depression again. We did some core work, which is, lifting up your legs into the air, holding them there, and then bringing them down slowly, and doing like the bicycle kicks, some other things. And then we finished dancing Ease On Down the Road from The Wiz. I don't think we're going to be doing that anymore. So yeah, that was fun. Moved into Rob's class, didn't get to sing that day. And I wasn't really paying attention to what anybody else was doing because depression. Phillida was sick, so we came in early to Rob's class, and we finished the song Doors. And then once again, I skipped another class on Wednesday. I skipped Rod's class in the morning because, to be completely and 100% honest with you, aside from the depression, I do think that his classes are the most pointless classes I've had here. I've got nothing out of them. Simon, the first class that we had with him, was good. The second one was a little silly. Maybe our next one will be pretty decent, but I don't know. So I moved into Alex's class. That was the first one that I went to for the day. Got our new scenes for next semester. Mine's with Emily this time. It's called Variation on a Theme. And I play Sam and she plays Rose. Basically, the scene is about, we're talking about this character, Ron, and she is in love with Ron, and then Ron is secretly gay, and Sam is in love with Ron, and so that's what we're discussing during the scene. And at this point, it'll be basic current English. It's psychological realism. We're not breaking the fourth wall anymore. So it's theater that I know and have been doing for years. Hopefully I can bring something to the table that everybody enjoys and understands and appreciates. Then we moved into Chris's class, and I only did about 30 minutes of work in total because we were working on Act 1, and I'm not really in it. I mean, I'm in the preface, but that only takes about 15 minutes. And so we did the preface first, and then we worked the scenes, and then everybody had to come back to run the thing, the first act. And so, yeah, I was there for 15 minutes to work the scene, and then 15 minutes to run the act. But Thursday was much better. Thursday I'd finally gotten out of my depression. I was feeling great. We did Acts 2, 3, and most of 4 off book, which I feel great about being off book. I mean, I had to call lines a few times, but I think everybody did. And most of this is because we ran it several times with the books in our hands, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that because it's not really acting. But that's a million times easier for me to be able to learn my lines while trying to act. I don't understand how people can monotonously learn their lines pacing back and forth in their bedroom or laying on the ground and grabbing their lines, looking at it, putting it down or whatever. I don't get it. I don't. It doesn't work for me. I literally, on Thursday, tried for 3 hours to memorize my lines for Simon's class. For 3 hours. And I only got halfway through it. I gave up at 3 hours. I gave up and went to bed. And then I went into Simon's class, and Aubrey got mad at me because I didn't have it memorized. And when Simon didn't want me to work on it because I didn't have it memorized, I was happy about that. I don't like being not memorized. I don't like that it didn't stick in my brain. I don't like that it takes me more than 45 minutes to do it, but it does. Aubrey said it took her 45 minutes because we worked it in class. That's great for you, Aubrey. I appreciate that. I do. I understand that you have that awesome ability to do that, but I don't. I'm trying. So getting mad at me for not knowing that monologue, when you have the ability to do that and I don't, doesn't help anything. Anyway, speaking of Friday, started out with Chris's class, finished up Act 4, and then did Act 5. And, yeah, still feeling pretty good about it. Act 5, I'm completely off book for. Don't even have to call lines, really. We missed one line, and that's because Robert forgot to feed me the cue line for my line. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't because I was fumbling with it, the words or anything. And then after Simon's class, we moved into Carrie's class, and I sang Sweeney Todd's Epiphany, and it's gotten much better. I decided to use a pen as a pretend knife, and I'm getting right up in people's faces, singing directly in their faces, holding my pen knife to their throats, and trying to be as maniacal as I can possibly be with it. Carrie gave me some decent notes. She told me that this is a whole desperation thing, that there's a void in my life that I am trying to fill by getting revenge and murdering people and all these kind of things. And I have to keep that in mind while singing my song. And so I'm going to be working on that over the week. So yeah, that was my week. Thanks for watching. So hope I didn't depress you during this thing, but maybe next week will be better. Fingers crossed. No day but today.